What is up, you beautiful people? This is Jayant here again with yet another podcast. So today I'll be interviewing Udit. Udit is, one of my inspirations when it comes to like building and scaling businesses. And by inspiration, I'll tell you my story with how I came into picture, how I basically came to learn about you was when I was looking for lifetime deals. Well, that's pretty much how I guess we all got connected. And pitch ground is something that I found out, and I landed in pitch ground when I was just looking for deals, and I landed there, and your retargeting ads started haunting me. I remember you would be running ads from your main profile, like Udit Goenka profile, right? And I'm like, who is this guy building his personal brand and running ads to pitch ground? This seems interesting. And then when I spoke to Didi, he was, he had a lot of praises for you, and we obviously met at Web's party. And ever since I have been wanting to interview you, so here we are. So why don't you, like, even though everybody knows who you are in my audience, why don't you still give us an intro about what you guys do?
Thank you so much for that intro, Janti. I think you've been like way too modest about the introduction, right? So yeah, it's a quick about me. My name is Udit Goenka, and I'm the founder and CEO of two brands. The first one is known as PitchGround. Started PitchGround back about 5 years ago, and the second one is known as FirstSale.io. Started the initiative to get going with this particular brand 6 years ago. Failed third time, worked out the fourth time, which is now known as FirstSale.io.
Failed first two times? I mean, what do you mean by that?
So it's a very interesting story, right? Before starting PitchGround, there used to be a platform I tried to build, just like First Sales, which is known as Funnel Bake. I tried to
Okay.
build it for the very first time, failed very miserably. Right, the tech team just couldn't build it. The second time I tried again, invested money, just couldn't build it. The third time I tried again couldn't build it. Fourth time is the charm, I guess. Right. I think I invested close to around $900,000 of my own money in the last 6 years in this project because I just believed in this particular strategy because I've been doing cold emails for the last 15 years, and I think I've pretty much grown all my businesses so far. Prior to that, I built two businesses and I made multi-million dollar exits from both those businesses at the same time. And I think I've always generated about 80% of my business through cold emails. And I
Hmm.
mean, every single venture that I've done, most of the companies that I consult with as well, I think cold email has always been like that number one B2B sales channel for me. Like I know for the fact something can still go wrong with social media and ads, but cold email is something you cannot go wrong with.
Yeah, right. So whenever somebody, there are marketers. We are we're a marketing agency, so I always pick fight with the performance marketers. Being a cold email guy myself, and I'd be like, tomorrow Facebook might go down, government might ban Instagram, but and also like, if you're running Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads for that matter, how many of the big CEOs would you get as leads by showing an ebook or a lead magnet? That guy may not be even opening, that guy may not even be opening social media in a day, right? It's very rare. How many times do you open Instagram, right? But you definitely open your emails because it's work. So that seems like the best
Yeah,
place
I
to.
think it's not just about. I think it's not just about that. The first thing when you get your mobile phone, what do?
Oh
You ask and
yeah,
set up your email.
yeah, hundred
If
percent.
you're getting an Android phone, you're setting up an account on Google. If you're getting an Apple phone, you're setting up an account on Apple. But you're setting up an email to begin with, and I think that's the most critical and crucial part of building and growing. That you will get people on email regardless, because that's how that has been a universal channel of communication since the time I think internet has pretty much existed.
Yeah, yeah. It existed 10 years, a decade before internet. To be honest, I think email came first. That was the first primary mode of
Yeah.
digital connection, and then it happened. It transitioned into internet later. That's how it went. But you were an agency guy, right? You started with a freelancing or agency. I don't remember. I remember you were a
So I started.
graphic designer. Then you shifted into multiple different things. Yeah.
But I started as a freelancer. I did not run an agency. I think I ran a performance agency back in 2015, 16.
Yeah.
I think most of the real estate ads that you saw in Mumbai, especially back in 2015, 16, was ran by me.
Oh damn! All right, tell
Right.
a little bit of story about that.
I've always believed Yeah, so look, I've always been a firm believer that if you want to learn any channel, just set up an agency. Simple,
Yeah.
right? That's the best way to really do it. That's the best way to really learn it. So let's say if you want to run a cold email, you want to learn cold email in the most efficient way, right? Just set up an agency for that. If you want to learn performance marketing, learn set up an agency. If you want to if you want to learn SEO, just set up an agency or work with an agency. Because what happens is you start understanding the needs of people. You start understanding the needs and requirements of your potential prospects and customers. And at that point of stage, you're always busy finding solution without spending money from your own pocket,
And you're getting paid for
right? So you're
solutions.
kind of like making mistakes. Yeah, you're getting paid for it. You're making mistakes on other people at that stage, right? So agency is a very smart way of kind of like learning and learning fast at the same time, right? It's not a slow learning curve. It's a fast learning curve, but you will see like a hockey stick curve growth of your learning. I'm not talking about money, but the
Hmm.
learning would be like a hockey stick curve growth.
Yep.
I've been a firm believer of that, and I think I pretty much ran ads worth 40-50 million dollars during those couple of years, right?
Hmm.
Because real estate people, they spend big, they don't spend,
Yeah.
right? I worked with few enterprises where they spend big, right? Their budgets would be like $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, right? So that really helped me to truly understand how to run performance marketing the right way, how to use channels the right way, how to write and drive copies the right way. Because we would change copy every other day,
Yeah.
because the budget would be so high that the ad fatigue would happen in just 2-3 days.
2 3 days.
So you would have to change your and swap your ads. But when it comes to cold email, that's not the case. If you find a winning formula and winning copy, just run it on the sides, and every single day your calendar will be booked up, and you just get on a call and start closing them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why like I've been a form of this. But what I also feel is when you combine both of these strategies, it's magic. So for example, this is what I typically do lately, and it's been working out great for me. So we use first as prospector to get the data from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We get the email
Oh, yeah,
addresses.
that's a new
We
feature,
put it
right?
up
It
on
very
Facebook.
recently have launched. I attended the webinar as well.
Then we upload that entire data on Facebook custom audience and Google custom audience, and we start showing ads to those prospects. And when they receive our cold email, they're like, I've heard about first sales somewhere, right? Oh yeah, I've been seeing this ad, right? Guess what? There's a
Yeah.
brand recall, and brand recall is the number one factor to get more people on calls. And
True.
once that happens, and they see my LinkedIn profile, which is ultra heavily optimized, they connect with me right away. And this is where typically I end up getting about like 4.5 to 5% conversion rate on my cold emails. This
Mm.
is primarily because of the way I have strategized things. Generally, people say, oh, you don't get very high conversion. That is because people don't have good looking website, people don't do PR, people have no media mention anywhere, their LinkedIn profile just sucks basically, right? It's a bare skeleton. You got to put some skin, right?
Yeah.
And after that skin, you some nice clothes. And that's how, like, you go out there in a club and you're able to kind of like close bigger deals at that stage. So uh cold email is exactly the same way, that you have to strategize things and you have to push people from omni channel.
Yeah.
Use email as a way to just have a right brand recall. So when you do this, you end up getting far better conversion. So that's how, like, a combination of all those learning is something that we constantly keep putting in and trying to keep innovating. And it has always worked out amazingly well for us.
Yeah. So technically, what you send is not a cold email, it was a warm email because they have already seen you. So they kind of know the brand
They've seen us,
exists.
it helps a lot. The
Hmm.
brand recall is so high that people want to get on a call. And the moment they open our email, I send them a request on LinkedIn right away.
Okay.
Right. So
Oh,
they
wow.
are like, yeah, I want to speak with this guy, right? Like, what the heck is this? Like, so when you're chasing your prospect, you got to chase from every possible way. And to be very honest with you, internet today is basically Instagram, Facebook, Google.
Yeah.
That's basically entire internet,
Yeah. A
right?
little bit of LinkedIn and
So when
Twitter,
you
but
show
that's
ads,
pretty much it.
yeah, but LinkedIn and Twitter, you don't really show ads, right? Because people
Ah,
might not be active on Twitter. And
yeah.
even on LinkedIn, the ads are ridiculously expensive. I think running custom audience ads is the biggest mistake you can do on LinkedIn.
Really? Oh, I never ran. So you
Yeah.
must know Twitter. Okay.
There is no point, right? So the way LinkedIn algorithm works is the moment you connect with someone, for the first 2 weeks, they'll see all your posts.
Hmm.
You have an opportunity. So if this is not many people know about LinkedIn's algorithm, that LinkedIn pushes new connection. They want new connection to see their each other's content,
Ah,
right? At the sacrifice by sacrificing old connections.
Okay.
That's has always been how LinkedIn works. So not many people know about this. That if you connect with someone and if you're not doing a lot of posts, you just missed out on a big opportunity of trying to sell them. Because those
Hmm.
2 weeks is when they will see your every single post. And if you're able to engage with them, they'll start seeing your future post as well from there.
Got it.
So it's very, very critical that you stay very active, right? So that's why we combine all of these things today to drive a
Hmm.
better conversion. It's no longer just about sending email or just showing
Yeah.
ads or just
Hmm.
posting on LinkedIn. It's not about that. You have to
Hmm.
combine all of the things together in order to drive conversions for you.
In fact, I was actually going through a tweet yesterday, and the guy he shared a screenshot of his Google Search Console, and he would say like the number of direct clicks that they were getting into the website that would drop as soon as they stop cold emailing. That means every single or a lot of the prospects they would actually copy their domain name, go to the main website, check these guys out, and then take a decision of whether I should reply to these guys or not. That's like simplest thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if they don't see your review pages on your first page, right, they would not purchase from you. There
100%.
needs to be a third party website, a popular one where you have at least like 10-15 reviews. If that's the case, that's why Google reviews helps out quite a lot, right? Because
Mm.
when they Google about you, and if you're a local business, and if they see reviews about you, they're likely to purchase more from you. And that's it. Because cold email is nothing but like you're going to a bar and randomly knocking someone, right? You're randomly talking to someone, and they won't trust you. You have to start a conversation. That conversation leads to then conversion,
Yeah.
right? People will exchange their numbers, right? And this is irrespective, right? Whether you're trying to date or whether you're trying to go on a business deal to close them, it doesn't matter, right? Because both of them, at the end of the day, you're trying to close someone,
Yep.
right? If you're trying to close someone, you got to make sure that you leave that strong impression on that person to make them think about you after the conversation is over. And if you can
Mm.
leave that impression, there's a big chance that you would actually, they would come back to you and they would say, you're the right person for the job, right?
Yeah.
You're the right person. I want to meet you again next time. So you have
Mm.
to have that confidence, not just with the way you form your copy, but also the way you talk, the way you write your contents. It needs to reflect confidence.
Exactly.
If that's not the case, if you don't know your game properly, it's going to be very hard. And there's always someone who's going to be better than you at what you do, and they would seize away that deal.
100%. But what would you suggest somebody who is starting out? Let's say we talk about the Udit who are 16 years of age, starting again now, and he doesn't have a lot of connections, communications, or like reviews. And what would be the ideal approach in such a case?
I would join a company. I would not start my startup.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Starting out,
Cool.
right? Again, your early 19, your early like 19 teenage years and like late teenage years and your early 20s is all about learning. It's not about making money. That's
Yeah.
the biggest mistake people make, right? They try to see those gurus out there on the internet who are trying to say, oh my God, you can
Oh.
make this much. You can
Yeah.
chill out on beach and still make like thousands of dollars, right? All those things are crap and bullshit because they want to sell you that course. But the best way to really learn it is by having someone and working under someone's guidance, right?
Hmm.
You're always inspired by someone's content. You're always inspired by someone who is doing better than you, especially in their 30s. Just reach out to those founders and tell them, I want to fucking work for you. Done. I'm not gonna
I'll
charge
work
a
for you
single.
for free. Yeah.
I'll just work for you for free. Teach me. That's all I want, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I deliver results to you as well. Just give me 3 months of your life. I'm gonna make sure I'll make you like a ton of money.
Yeah.
I can tell you, not a single person will say no.
Yeah.
I'm
Everybody
yet to
needs
see
good
someone
people.
coming. Yeah, I'm yet to see someone coming out with this kind of a confidence and telling me that give me this job and I'll do extremely well. I'll crush in everything, right? Because there's almost always those stigmas out there that there has to be like paid this, paid that, paid this, paid that, paid that. But people don't talk about results.
Yeah.
Sure, you're gonna get paid, but can you drive results? That's a big question,
Yeah.
right? So as long as you are someone who will be able to drive results, you'll always move forward well in your life, well in your career. And I know, I think Ashni Grover in one of his speeches said that there is hardly about 2 crores people in India that actually works,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone is fighting to have those people in their company. That's actually a true fact that there's hardly two crore people, right? There's just 20 million people who actually work Out of the
Yeah, in
140
fact,
million,
I actually drew a
1.4
statistics.
billion people we have.
To find one good A player in the team, we had to probably interview about 50 or 60 people.
Yep.
And I don't know, man, such a crazy statistic that what hardly 2% of the people are actually qualified. Not
Yep.
qualified, not just in terms of qualification, at least they had that vibe about them that can, that you are confident, this guy will work. Yeah.
Anytime someone reaches out to me, I just tell them, ask them one thing. Okay, what's the salary you want? If they say, oh, I want 25 lakhs, I just tell them, I need 10x of that as a return. Can you do that? I'll pay you 25 lakhs.
Yeah.
Simple. You have a requirement, you have a demand, I have a demand. What
Yeah.
if you don't match? Are you going to refund the money that you have gotten? They say no, I say no, I move on. Simple.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the lack of confidence. Because if someone who has made 25 lakhs is confident to help you make 25 lakhs as well. If someone has never seen that kind of a money and just going to demand because, oh, I deserve that salary, then you also deserve, you also require to then generate that sort of a result, right? And that's where I see like a lot of AI and everything taking over the world right now, because it has been just producing results for people at like 1/100th of a cost, basically.
$20, bros. Like that's like the best intern I've ever hired for $20.
Oh, so it's actually a better employee, not just an intern, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about cold emails because I love your post. We are both into the same the skill set of marketing. One thing that you told really stuck out. Like everybody uses emails because it's like having a phone, right? You cannot say that
Right.
okay, phone calls will be dead tomorrow. It's
Right.
like that, right? So you still do outreach. I mean, with the brand that you guys have, like how does that
Yeah,
work?
we always do outreach, right? Even I think I've been doing outreach for the last 15 years. And again, like I said, this channel has never disappointed me. And
Hmm.
this channel still doesn't disappoint me ever. It always works and it will continue to work. And we'll continue using this channel. No
Hmm.
matter how bigger the brand is, they still need to outreach, because we are in B2B industry. We are not in B2C industry,
Yeah.
right? When it comes to B2C industry, then you are spending a lot on advertisement. You're spending a lot on different kind of a branding, right?
Hmm.
Because you cannot scale up B2C with sales. It's just not
Yeah.
possible. You have to market and then educate people about your product to drive uh, the
More the
purchasing decision.
branding way as opposed to like
Yeah,
sales
correct.
way.
But when
Yeah.
it comes to B2B, there's always new people coming in, right, in the industry. So no matter how big the brand is, not everyone knows about MailChimp. Not everyone knows about Salesforce, believe it or not. Even
Yeah.
they have to I have seen companies like Intercom sending me cold emails,
Hmm.
right?
Damn.
So everyone has to outreach. There's no other way around. B2B works that specific way, because B2B is always very local to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, every industry in B2B is very niche. I won't say there's like a
Absolutely.
big TAM in B2B at all. Like it's a small
I
thing.
know, absolutely. There's niche, and then there is sub niche, and there is sub niche,
Yeah.
right? So it's impossible for any brand to be known that big, no
Hmm.
matter what, right? There are people I speak with, they still don't know what is Slack. They still don't know what is Zoom.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
right.
Damn.
Because we are focusing on probably on a tier one city, right? But there is tier three cities and tier four cities as well in developed countries as well, right? So
Yeah.
even they don't know about that. You will be surprised to know that, right? A lot of people I speak with, they don't even know what is email outreaching sometimes. It just amazes me, right? That they, and many of people I speak with, they don't even know the difference between email marketing and email outreaching,
Oh yeah, I see these people a lot.
right? We
Yeah.
had actually written an article and we have it as a priority link in our footer.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn,
This is
bro.
the most common question people think, like, oh, I'm gonna outreach from MailChimp. No, you cannot outreach from MailChimp. It's not built for that. It
Yeah.
doesn't have like 99% of the it doesn't have 99% of the sales features or pre-CRM features at all.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Right. So
Yeah.
people don't get that, right? And again, I
Mhm.
don't blame people, because the channel is the same, right? It's kind of like you have if you have a large ground. Now you can turn that into a sports playground. You can turn that into for ceremony purposes. You can turn that into business concert. You can turn that into a rock concert. The product is still the same, which is an empty large ground.
Mm.
How you use it really depends, and your use cases are a variety of those use cases,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So what happens is people know about only one use case, right? People know that there is ground and I can only use this way. People don't know that I can use it in that way as well. And that's another challenge that I've often seen, right? So even with a bigger B2B brand, coming back to your original question, even no matter how big the B2B brand is, you still got to outreach, because there's always someone in that local city that has just entered into the B2B industry and they don't know about you at all. In fact, they don't know about anything at all.
Mm,
Right? It amazes me how many SaaS founders we reach out to and they don't even know what is lifetime deal. We have
really?
to educate. We have to
Okay.
literally sit down and educate them what is lifetime deal.
I think I'm getting amazed because we have been in this market for so long that it's hard to imagine that somebody doesn't know about this. But let's say somebody has just launched a SaaS and
I think
they're
you
a
might be
developer.
primarily I think you might be primarily focusing on a very like high level tier one cities, basically,
Mm,
right? And
yeah,
we have to focus a lot more on tier two and tier three cities. Not just I'm talking about India, but
India.
around the globe, because those are the founders that are aspirational founders and they're trying to innovate to improve their life,
Mm,
right? People who are living in tier one cities are already aware of things,
yep.
right? They are not working to get to certain level. They are working to have a better lifestyle. So, for example, someone living in Bangalore and Mumbai, they are far more aware of what's happening in the industry. And you are not living in those cities just to make money or just to build a life. You are living in the city to improve your life. There's a difference in building
Yeah,
a life and improving your life.
100%.
Versus someone living in tier two and tier three cities, they are working towards building their life before they can work on improving their life, right? So they
100%.
are a lot
Wow.
more aspirational. So now when you reach out to them, they are less aware of things, because the product generally doesn't reaches over there, because majority of the product companies as well, they focus on selling in only in tier one cities.
Yeah, because they think the big money is there, but then
Absolutely.
the world has 7 billion
Absolutely. But
people.
they don't realize that there is a whole money being left over. And that's the reason why we grew very quickly.
In fact, I've seen this a lot. So I was doing outreach for this e-commerce marketing agency, and their first ever requirement was, okay, will not outreach to US. You know we have that part sorted out. Give me more company, more countries. And I was surprised. Like I got the best kind of customers for them from Brazil, South Africa, Mexico. I would never imagine these countries in the list, but such good responses I would get from them, and you know, validates your point. Yeah.
We have been selling first sales in India like crazy, right? Versus every other software company is focusing on just US market. I'm like, thank you so much for doing that, right?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
today, you would be surprised to know I had a couple of calls today, and they told me that both those prospects came on the call via a referral. Like someone told them that go and use first sales. And
Mm.
we launched first sales V2 and started aggressive marketing only 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not longer, right? It's just 2 months since we have been very active in promoting first sales,
Mm.
because now we are very confident about the product quality, that
Mm.
we know for the fact that when we onboard, the product is gonna like smash it with regards to the result, right? The kind of uniqueness that the product has. You'll be amazed. Like the referrals that we are getting and the word of mouth marketing that we are getting is insane. And that is one thing that truly has amazed me lately. A
Mm.
lot of calls that has been scheduled is purely word of mouth, right? And for a company and a product that is just 2 months old, that is just surprising to me, right?
You have
So
been
that's
developing it for
started
quite a bit though. Like last year, I remember we discussed, but now it has
six,
taken a better shape.
yep, 6 years. That's what I mentioned.
Yeah. I spoke to one of your team members and he was showing some features, but 2 weeks back when you did that webinar, when you showed that prospecting feature of versus, I was like, oh, this is crazy, So you have been really on it, building that product, stacking offers one
Yes,
top.
the next month we are releasing something groundbreaking again, right? Where what we are doing is we are building a one-to-one email personalization feature, where what's going to happen is the moment you upload your prospects and if you add in your LinkedIn and website URL of those prospects, we will scrape all the data and create a complete personalized emails and follow-ups for you
The
for
entire, oh,
everything,
damn.
right? And there will be another feature in that where we will crawl your prospect every single day, and the moment they make a new post on LinkedIn, we will scrape that data and automatically send out an email to them.
That I read this post. Oh, wow, this is
Yeah,
crazy.
automatically. You don't even need to do. We'll check that profile every single day, once a day,
Mm.
right? Or twice, or few times a week, right? Depending upon the crawling credits that you will purchase, right? The more credits that you have, you'll have those settings available, right?
Of course, of course.
Now, this is something that no one has done. Everyone, a couple of companies have just added icebreakers. Icebreakers are not gonna help. It's just one line you're ice breaking, right? But what if you don't understand the number of employees a company has and you don't personalize the problem for them? Because the problem statement for a smaller company is different than the problem statement for a medium-sized company, that the problem statement is different from for a large-sized company.
Yeah.
You got to personalize the whole email and not just one line, right? That's where we are personalizing everything, right? Right from the first email to this. So this feature is going to go live by the end of next month, right? We're
100%,
again
bro.
pretty excited.
Like
We're constantly innovating.
the guy who taught me cold email, he was very strict about not using automation tools, and he is like, Jayant, you write the entire email for the entire prospects list manually. That's how I
Yeah, and
learned.
that entire thing will get automated.
Yeah, that's why I'm like getting amazed already. This is fantastic.
Like I said, we are innovating already. Our product is way ahead than any other product in the market, especially with the way we have been developing with some of the most unique features. And the problem is the fun part is that our competitors cannot even catch up to us anymore because our entire architecture is built in a way where if they would take 3 months or 4 months to build, it will just take us 2 weeks to build that.
Yeah.
Right? They can't even catch us anymore.
Hmm.
Right? That's how we have built up everything. So we kind of like our entire architecture is built like a Lego. A Lego can be used to build a car, it can be used to build a building, it can be used to build anything, right? That's how our entire architecture is built up.
How did you learn all this stuff? You were never a coding guy, right? You started as a marketing guy. How did you
No, no, no. I
learn all
started
this?
as a designer and developer,
Oh,
right?
okay. Is
So
it?
yeah, so I know how to code, right? It's just that
Okay.
I have a 1000x better CTO than what I do, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm like fully aware, and this is a very beautiful combination of a developer turning into marketer and salesperson, right? Because you understand the depth of tech at that stage,
Yeah.
right? That helps you to sell better, and that will just help you to innovate better in terms of what all possibilities you can have. So, but yeah, our core team is just fabulous with regards to that, right? Like the entire core team, everyone knows coding basically,
Hmm.
right? Me
Hmm.
and my other co-founder doesn't code, but my third co-founder, my second co-founder, my CTO, he codes. But my
Okay.
CEO, he knows how to code as well. So
Okay.
that just helps us out, right? And plus, we are a hardcore marketer and salesperson. And
So
plus, I'm a
bringing the
Marwadi
best
on top.
of all the worlds, like marketing, sales, and the
Absolutely.
tech
And
knowledge.
plus on top of that, I'm a Marwadi, right? So sales is just in my blood.
Yeah.
It's just natural to me, and I don't
Hmm.
push for sales. It just happens, right? Because I know and understand human psychology very well in
Yeah.
terms of triggering that human psychology. So I never kind of like push people to buy from me.
Hmm.
I know for the fact eventually they would.
Fantastic. That's it. So, okay. So, before kind of summarizing and ending the session, I have a couple of final questions because we both love cold emailing again. What's like the framework that you use? Like, I ask this question to every marketer that come across to my channel, and everybody gives me a different answer. Somebody gives, I use this way, I use loom strategy. What is your framework, overall framework? Because I know, because I also am in this field, the copy changes, the structure changes, it keeps on changing, but a general framework always stays. So what's like your strategy around sending emails?
So in terms of sending out cold email, so you're specifically talking about cold email framework, right? And not how we operate as a framework, right?
The cold email framework, yeah.
In terms of cold email, right? We focus on how can we create a conversation, how can we start a conversation. We never try to sell people, right?
Mm.
And I tell people this way. So I'm going to teach everyone cold email in just 3 words. Like this is a crash course or MBA in cold email in just 3 words,
All
right?
right, all right.
Right prospecting, right copy, and right offer.
Mm.
You miss out on any of these 3 things, and cold email will not work for you. It's just like you have a car, but if you have a car without a tire, it will not operate. You
Mm.
have a car with no fuel, it will not operate. You have a car with no driver, it will not operate. You have a car with no engine, it will not operate. You need every piece of part along with the driver to go from one point to B point with your car. Cold email is exactly the same way. So, in terms of starting a framework, make sure your ICP is absolute clear.
Mm.
Don't focus on don't focus on horizontal ICP, focus on vertical ICP.
Vertical ICB.
So to give you a quick example, When we started reaching out for first sales, our first set of emails went to appointment settlers
Oh,
because I don't need to teach them how to do cold emails. I don't need to teach them what cold email is. I just need to tell them why my product is better than other people's product.
yeah, because they're
That's
already aware.
all.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all I have to do.
Hmm.
Right. Once we had that entire list, then I started focusing on lead generation agencies.
Hmm.
Right. Lead generation agencies are a combination of various things. They are not just appointment settlers, right? But they do cold emails, they do maybe LinkedIn outreaching as well. They're probably doing Facebook ads for leads as well, right? So at that stage, we are then going a little broad enough. Once that is done, then we are focusing on digital marketing agencies, right? And inside digital marketing agencies, now we'll pick up SEO agencies first because we know for the fact that they outreach all the time for
For
guest posts.
backlinks and
We again don't need them. Yeah, we don't need to teach them what is product, what is outreach, what is cold email. We
ah,
don't need to teach them any of those things,
okay.
right? Understand who your prospects are. This is why I told you, right? Prospecting. The second is write copy. Don't write an email with things like, hey, my name is Udit Goenka and I'm the founder of First Sale. Here are the
Hope
5
you're
things
doing
I
well.
sell.
That's how most of the cold emails
Hope
start.
you're doing well. And then, dear Jayant, please don't do any of those things, right? It will
Yeah.
not work. So
Yep.
be very straightforward and start with something intriguing, right?
Hmm.
You would be surprised that some of our cold email, it starts with a quote,
Ah,
and that those emails have performed out of the box for us,
that's an insight I'm
right?
getting from today.
So
Okay.
then another experiment that we recently ran that drove us about $10,000 in sales. I started my podcast. So this was intentional. I started my sales podcast, and
Hmm.
I would keep my podcast episodes to just 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. Because one thing for the fact, based on the data I researched, people do not have a lot of time.
Hmm.
People want to consume information very quickly. So what we did was we started a mini pod. A mini pod basically is that your podcast is of short duration, to the point, too precise, to just providing one piece of information.
I think
That's it.
HubSpot has a very nice outbound sales secret or something like that. They have like some 3-4 minutes of podcast similar to what you're saying.
Yeah. We do just 2 to 3 minutes of podcast. That's it.
Hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Good couple of good piece of information and we wrap it up. Right. So we recorded that and we recorded about 4 episodes and we let it thrive to see which one was the best performing episode out of that. We found that one was best performing episode. So what we did was in our follow-up email, we just included the link. Now, not many people know, but 60% of people and adults in US, they listen to podcast.
Yeah.
60%, right? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So what I did was um, I included my podcast, and I know that when I was reaching out to people in US, they only listen to Apple Podcast. They
Hmm.
don't use any other channel. Listen to pod. So I made sure that my podcast was an Apple podcast, and I just started including the link. Guess what? Two things happened. First, my conversions went up. Second, the number of subscribers for my podcast started going up as well. So that now every time I push contents,
It's
those people
like
who are also in my funnel,
nurturing.
they listen to my podcast.
Did you included content
Absolutely. Now, how
marketing
many
with
times you
cold email with oh
now,
wow, this is
how many times you have seen people using podcast as a way to close someone? Now, what happens is the moment they click on my link, right? First, it has the ability to track if someone has clicked on your link or not. So the
yeah.
moment they click on my link, now what happens is I send them a connection request on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Now they have heard my voice. Now they see the picture behind that voice,
Hmm.
right? There's
Interesting.
a face now to that voice,
Yeah.
right? Now there is a face. My LinkedIn is ultra heavily optimized. Every piece of my LinkedIn section is heavily optimized. I use my LinkedIn profile as a landing page,
Yeah. I've seen that. I've taken a lot of inspiration from
right?
your LinkedIn profile for myself actually.
So I do that, and the moment they see my LinkedIn, they are like, there is a reason why 35,000 people are following this guy,
Yeah.
right? In
It
B2B,
has that
35,000 is as
authority.
good as 3 million. it's like 3 million in B2C. It's like 3 million in entertainment industry, basically. That's the 100x is the equivalent ratio,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
So now that you have that, you're all set, right? Because now people come in, convert, and then I keep posting every pieces of content. So that's how I use a lot of channels across, because it's no longer just about sending cold email. People will research about you now. When you research and when you Google for sales, you will see all our Captera, G2, Trustpilot links, all of them having 4.5 star, 4.6 star, 4.7 star. People are like, yeah, there must be something, right? Right?
Mm.
So many coincidences cannot happen. So many people are following this person. They have a good podcast. They have good content. There's so many people following up. The email copy was bang on as well. I got to get on a call,
Mm.
right? These are doers. They will drive results for me. And when
Yeah.
they get on a call and when they see our new product, they're like, this is what I was looking for, right? And
Interesting.
we end up converting them at that stage. This is how we have been doing things. So a lot of people don't realize that cold email is not just about cold email. If you also check out For Sales website, it doesn't look like a normal website. It's a
Mm.
sales copy.
Yeah, yeah. I've
You are
noticed that.
today, the concept of typical website, I feel, is over. Your website needs to do the selling, and for that, you need to start learning how to write sales copy.
Mm.
If you literally read our copy, right, we are trying to engage with you with our copy.
Yeah, let me
We're
share
not
it
trying to give
actually.
you
Yeah, this is fantastic. Say goodbye to empty pipelines, say
right.
hello to daily conversations. Yeah. Actually, I saw this headlines quite a while back, and I was like
Yeah.
instantly hooked. And I was actually discussing with one of our team members to kind of take this as an inspiration and write our own agency's copy. But yeah.
Now, now, if you look at the small things, right? If you look at our menu, right? If you go to the top, it doesn't say reviews. It says wall of love.
Oh, yeah,
Giving
yeah.
a lot of human touch to it, right? If you click on it, you will see screenshots, tweets about our customers, things like that. We have our story. I don't know why people don't put up their story. I just literally don't know why people don't do that, right? Just put up your
Mm.
story, right? It's your story. It doesn't have to be the best story in the world, but it's your story, right? That builds like further authenticity. Then, if you look at it, our website has got the entire interactive demo of our product. You can just play around with the product. I don't know if you saw that right
Yeah, yeah, I
now. You
saw
can
in the
literally play
homepage
around with
itself,
the
right?
whole product right on the platform itself, right? Just scroll
Yeah.
down a bit. Yeah. Now, just click on it, right? It will walk you through what to do next,
Crazy. It's like demo
right?
and
This is what
automation,
we
bro.
right? So we have done that. So now what happens is that our conversions have started spiking up because of this, because now people are like, I already know how to use the product,
Mm.
right? And then from there, rest of the conversation keeps on happening. And we keep on pushing content, right? We keep on pushing heavy content because you cannot grow without contents today. It's as simple as that. Content in drives a lot of value for people. We have created courses, a lot of those things. It's all about educating people and making sure that they know whom they're dealing with at that point of stage. Once they know that conversion is gonna happen, because if you're not providing that sort of a value to your customers today, they're not gonna buy from you. These are
100%.
the efforts that you gotta take today. And secondly, I'm literally everywhere, literally on every platform. My phone buzzes every few seconds, and I
Mm.
try my level best to respond to everyone, right? If the DM is proper, I respond to everyone, right? If there is gibberish DM, then definitely like we'll all skip
Of
on it. But
course.
if
Yeah.
I read every single DM of mine on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on this, I read every single of my prospects DM, right? And if they are worthwhile, I respond to every single one of them. Again, like I said, if they're very clear with what they want,
Mm.
that's how I do it, right? So what happens with this is people think, matlab, he's available all the time. And when you're available for people, that again builds a lot of trust.
Yeah, approachable.
So it's all a value chain. Yeah, you're very approachable. You
Mm.
don't have ego. A lot of people generally, the moment they start growing, I've seen this, right? Especially with me launching so many founders on PitchGround, I've seen ego pumping up the moment sales starts happening,
Mm.
right? I've seen that firsthand. But what you don't realize is ego will not take you anywhere in the world,
So true
right? You
because
reached out to me once. You gave me the link. You asked me for podcast once, right? What was my next message? Send me your link.
yeah, that's what.
Did I ask you how many subscribers you have? Did I ask you what you do? Nothing. I just
Mm.
told you give me the link.
Yeah.
That's all. Now, even if you had zero subscribers, I would have still got on your podcast.
That's fantastic.
right? I don't check into all of those things, right?
Mm,
So what happens with this is I have always believed in one thing: stay grounded,
yeah.
don't fly. Life is about life is marathon, right? If you walk, if you stay grounded, if you stay humble and empathetic towards people, you'll go a long way. You'll go very, very long way. But don't let people take advantage of that either, right? You need to have a nice balance of when you need to act in a certain way and when you
Yeah.
need to remain empathetic towards people at the same time, right? So if
This
someone is trying to bash,
resonates with me
don't
a
be
lot.
empathetic at that.
Yeah. I remember this. In fact, half of the softwares that I use, more than half, like we use ConvertKit, we use this Find Email, if you have heard of it. In fact, one of your competitors, Instantly. The whole reason why I subscribed to them and I'm still a customer to them, because when they were launching, I just knew the founders and they were very sweet to me. Like they were active.
Absolutely.
But obviously, over time, they have become like a little bit, you know,
No, that's why I'm told you it's very important to stay grounded, right? It's very
yeah.
important to stay humble. It's very important to stay empathetic, right? These are good traits, basically. And if you don't have that, develop it. Simple,
Hmm.
right? There is no other way around. You cannot make excuses around this. You have to say, because it takes one incident for things to go wrong. You could be 99 times very good with people, and the one time you're bad with someone, they would only remember that. They would
Yeah.
not remember the rest 99 times you have helped them.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I have seen that happen firsthand though. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Thanks a
man.
lot for this.
That's how things have been, right? Like you stay humble, empathetic towards people, and no matter how much you grow in life, stay humble. That's all.
Mm.
At the end of the day, that's what people will remember you for, not the amount of money you have made in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I would love to end this podcast with one observation that I'm seeing. So I read this tweet by Naval Ravikant where he talks about the four leverages: content, code. I think there are people, and third is capital. Fourth is capital. And I see you kind of picking every single lever for yourself. You are out there producing a bunch of content. You are using code to build awesome stuff. You are using outreach, basically using people. Right now these are emails, but essentially those are written by people, but now AI, but whatever. And you are bootstrapping this entire thing and investing every dime of your profit back into this funnel to like really scale it up. I think this is what it takes to build a business, like, like you said, $1 million exists.
It's not easy, I'm telling you, but you gotta enjoy at the end of the day, right? I enjoy what I do, right? I truly enjoy what I do. I love when people say, "Oh my God, I've never seen this sort of a growth with any other product," right? When you hear that, that's the most satisfying thing for you as a founder, right? Especially as a tech founder, that's the most satisfying thing, right? So
Yeah,
that's what I've been trying to build for the last 6 years. We cracked it 2 months ago, and we've been just scaling since then.
absolutely, man. Thanks a lot, and yeah, thanks a lot for coming to my podcast as well. And for those of you
Pleasure
guys
for mine.
who are watching, Udit, how do people get to enjoy first sales? What should we do? Give us a call to
I
action.
think they can sign up for sales, right? Everything is self onboarding. They can click on the sign up button right on the platform, right? Or generate leads, what we say, instead of sign up button. Just click on
Yeah.
that button and start generating leads. And if you want to
Yes.
reach out to me, look for Udit Goenka on LinkedIn and send me a request. Happy to connect.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you very much.